There's another leadership shakeup at the Senate, as Sherwin Gatchalian officially assumes the post of Senate President. Good morning, I'm Atty. Karen Jimeno, and this is At the Forefront. It's official. Sherwin Gatchalian is the new Senate President, while Senator Tito Sotto is the new Senate President Pro Tempore. The vote was made in a special session held by the Senate as requested by President Bongbong Marcos. To give us her insights on these developments and other issues, we'll be speaking with Iloilo 1st District Representative Janette Garin. She's also the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives. Good morning, Deputy Speaker Janette.
Good morning, Atty. Karen.
First, let's start with the latest. In a special session today, 13 senators voted for Sherwin Gatchalian as Senate President. What is your reaction to this?
We're very happy. It's long awaited. It's not about who we want to become a Senate President. It's about putting everything back to its proper perspective, allowing Senate to work. Kasi ang daming naging kawawa dun sa stalemate that happened in the Senate. Like, we have a lot of foreign diplomats who have their confirmations pending. We have a lot of men in uniform who were supposed to be promoted prior to their retirement. Pending yung iba, I'm not sure if they can still be confirmed. And we have a lot of important laws that is time-bound. We have the Kalinga Bill, which gives the President powers, emergency powers in terms of this war on Iran and US, the earthquake that happened. Ang daming kailangan, but we can't work simply because we have been held hostage on this fight about the leadership in Senate. And of course, I salute Senator Joel Villanueva dahil I've worked with him before in Congress. And the way I know him, even kung may sakit yan, talagang papasok sa Kongreso yan. In this case, he probably felt the sense to fulfill his duty because the stalemate was there. Parang it's not a matter of who will lead the Senate, it's a matter of how can Senate fulfill its mandate.
Nagulat po ba kayo na nandun sa special session si Senator Joel Villanueva? Because before this special session, may mga usap-usapan na siya na raw yung pang-13th na tatalon doon sa Gatchalian block. But of course, merong mga nagsasabi na hindi naman siguro, but people were speculating that merong negotiations behind the scenes na nangyayari.
The way I see things, it's not about negotiations. You know, Senator Sherwin and Senator Joel Villanueva used to be very good friends when they were colleagues in Congress. Magkasama yan magkakasama kami sa Kongreso before. And when I was in the cabinet together with Senator Joel Villanueva, at the time he was handling TESDA, nakikita ko rin yung good working relationship niya with Senator Gatchalian and the family. So I think it's really about his conscience that people are clamoring for Senate to buckle down to work. No? Mahirap parang if you are elected by your constituents, you have to deliver. And in this case, how can Senate deliver if they're in a deadlock? Just because merong, you know, in Congress, in Senate, maraming may gusto ng posisyon. But many positions can only be given to a single person. But that interest of yours should not deter the delivery of basic services.
Those who demand accountability for the flood control controversy are concerned that there are some senators that are implicated in this controversy that might not be held accountable based on yung switching of sides. So, merong mga concerned na nadawit na yung pangalan ni Senator Chis Escudero and Senator Joel Villanueva in the past partial Blue Ribbon Committee report. And yung pagbalik daw nila dito sa new majority might prevent any cases being filed against them. Is that a valid concern?
I don't think so. Remember, we had the ICI who conducted the investigation. And documents gathered in investigations, output of the investigations of the ICI have already been forwarded to the Office of the Ombudsman. The Ombudsman is doing his work. The office is aggressively pursuing those responsible for the flood control mess. However, there are a lot of intrigues and fake news coming out So, hindi dapat noon ilihis yung katotohanan. So, if there are people accountable, any position that you have, you will still be accountable. But we cannot make that as an excuse for people not being allowed to do their job. And when we talk about accountability, we have the impeachment process, we have the flood control investigation. All of those dapat matuldukan, dapat masagot.
So regardless of this changes in alliances in the Senate, you believe na may mangyayari pa rin?
May
dito
mananagot
sa...
at lalabas rin ang katotohanan. It's very difficult, Attorney Karen, no, na, like what happened to this 18 former bodyguards or security guards, allegedly, of the company of Congressman Saldico. Paulit-ulit kasi ang version, paiba-iba yung kwento. And what bothers me is that they have the blanket authority to just speak up without even a signed affidavit. No,
Meron daw silang affidavit na according to their lawyer,
that's
Attorney
why,
Baligod.
okay, when they came out on a press conference way back in February, it was hype, no? Talagang, oh, meron kaming pasabog. Unang-una, nagulat ako, andun yung pangalan ko. Kasi I'm very sure na wala akong natanggap ni isang kusing from Saldico. Now, maleta pa yung mga gano'n, no? Now, I asked for a signed affidavit. And when it was in the news that they filed a case before the ombudsman, I did the same. Pero wala eh. So that's why I filed a case a few days ago, so that I can have a copy of their signed affidavit. Kasi ang dami kong tanong eh, kailan, saan, how, where, when, who delivered it, if any. Kasi alam kong wala. Now, eto namang mga paratang sa ibang mga senador na lumabas lang kahapon, I'm not sure, but apparently it's being meant to divert the attention of the people kasi ang daming issues eh. And coming from my experience on Vaksha, ang nakita namin previous administration, whenever there's a problem, whenever there's conflict, it will always be convenient for some to put the issue out so that people will focus on that. So hindi natin dapat ilihis ang katotohanan that we have pending problems. Yes, we have the flood control mess where people should be held accountable. But we also have the impeachment where accountability of public officials should be tackled. And we also have problems down the line. Yung kailangan natin ng ayuda kasi nga ang daming global challenges, war, climate change, and we have to be prepared in any calamity that can happen.
So, kapansin-pansin po sa special session today na wala pa rin doon yung Cayetano block. Do you think this will pose a challenge in terms of the upper chamber being able to do its work and Congress as a whole? Because there are a lot of things that you have to do as a BICAM.
With 13 senators now present and with the election of new chairmen for specific committees, Senate can go to work, no?
Regardless of the absence and
yes,
iba.
regardless of the absence of the 10. However, I believe that they will still have the heart and the conscience to go back to Senate and do their work. Kasi obligasyon nila yun at nagbabantay ang taong bayan. No? We cannot put governance on stalemate just because may mga bagay ka na gusto na hindi nasasang-ayunan ng mayorya.
Do you think Senate President Sherwin Gatchalian can be a unifying leader? Kaya niya kayang unite itong Senate ngayon? Napaka-contentious kasi yung nung nangyari.
I believe so. Senator Sherwin has been their colleague both in Congress and in Senate for a long time. No, may mga pagkakaibigan. It's not really a perfect relationship kasi ganun talaga yun, magdedebate kayo on many matters. But almost always, as I've observed him, what the decision of the majority, as long as it's legal, will always prevail under the leadership of Senator Sherwin.
This change in Senate leadership, naka-apat na tayo under this administration, apat na palit. Kanina sa oath-taking we had former Senate President Tito Sotto, former Senate President Mig Zubiri, and then sino pa ba? And of course we had Senate President Sherwin Gatchalian and Senate President Cheese Escudero. Tama, apat sila.
Tama.
So, and then we've had of course Senate President Alan Peter Cayetano. So 5 in a span of 4 years under this administration. what can you say about the effects or impacts of this constant change in Senate presidency?
It has caused a lot of delays in terms of legislative priorities, and it is also unhealthy in terms of delivering what the Filipino people deserves. So I believe at this point of time, and I congratulate Senator Alan Cayetano for conceding. Sa pananaw ko, mapapagod na rin
Na-consider
sila.
ba siya? May pending petition siya sa Supreme
He
Court.
did file a petition
yeah, but I think
yesterday.
that's already moot with the 13 votes today.
Yes, and it doesn't play well. No? I just came from the district, umiikot ako. Nagugulat ako kasi yung mga tao ang tinatanong, ay bakit ba nagkakaroon sila ng greediness sa position? So I have to tell them, hindi, ano lang yan, may mga sariling paninindigan, but the masses, the people are looking at it as greediness within the Senate as an institution. Kaya maganda na nako-correct ito ngayon. We all need to buckle down to work. There are a lot of challenges, global challenges at that, and people deserves real service.
So we've had the most number of changes in Senate presidency under this administration in Philippine history. When it comes to the House of Representatives, do you think Speaker Boji D will be able to finish his term until 2028? But before you answer this question, we'll have to take a short break. At the forefront, we'll be right back. Welcome back at the forefront. We continue our conversation with House Deputy Speaker Janette Garin. Deputy Speaker Janet, sa Senate, we've had the most changes in Senate presidency. 5 na, so more than 1 per year under this administration. And this is the most changes we've had in Philippine history. But when it comes to the House of Representatives, do you think that House Speaker Boji D will be able to finish his term until 2028?
I think so. Though there are also challenges in Congress, nananaig pa rin, no, yung boses ng mayorya. And this is very important because continuously changing leadership would also mean delaying delivery of services. If there are changes, let's say for some committees, then that's acceptable.
Do you think there's a risk that when it comes to the impeachment trial, that the Cayetano bloc will not attend that trial?
It will be their loss because your absence would mean losing your voice. And they have been elected, we elected them because we wanted their voices to be heard as they tackle all issues in government, and that includes accountability. So kapag ayaw mong pumasok, hindi ka magpapakita, how can you now represent the voices of the people that elected you?
Do you think dapat baguhin ang rules ng Senate, and is that allowed? For example, if now the new minority, the Cayetano bloc, does not attend sessions in Senate, may mga certain rules that require the presence of a minority member.
That
Kaya
will
bang
be
palitan
for
yun?
them to tackle, but hindi because there should be the voice of the minority should be heard as well as the voice of the majority. But I still believe, naniniwala pa rin ako na maaantig yung puso at damdamin, matatalino yung ating mga senador, no? Well, I mean, except for I don't want to go to that controversy, but alam natin na alam nila ang kanilang trabaho. So naniniwala ako na makukonsensya rin ang ating mga senador. They will attend the sessions, they will convene the impeachment court because it's their constitutional duty.
Now that the issue of this Senate presidency has been put to rest, we have officially Senate President Sherwin Gatchalian. Are you confident that the passing of legislation will now become efficient again? And meron na po ba kayong update doon sa anti-political dynasty bill? Kaya bang mapasa to before the SONA?
Before the SONA, it might be difficult because there are a lot of contentious issues, but within the term of President Bongbong Marcos, it's doable. That's why Senate has to convene kasi natapos na rin ng Kongreso ang version namin. At alam ko na marami ang contentious issues doon, especially the issue on regular district congressmen and party list congressmen who are related by blood or affinity. The BICAM is very important kasi dapat mapasaya, no? If you come across a new president na hindi ulit yan mapag-uusapan, we're going back to zero. So I believe mapapabilis itong mga dapat na gawin and matutuldukan ang maraming bagay. You know, it's very sad, Attorney Karen, that there are a lot of investigations, measures being conducted by Senate. Remember, Farmally, hindi natuldukan yan. COVID expenditures, hindi rin natuldukan yan. And now we have the impeachment trial. Kaya nga, dapat makita ng taong bayan na kapag ang ating mga lideres ay may sinisimulan, dapat tapusin, dapat tuldukan. Because it's our job. It's our constitutional duty. It's our mandate. It's a responsibility to our people.
So do you think po yung Farmally hindi pa natutuldukan? So kaya bang ibalik pa yung investigation doon?
Well, it depends on the Senate. But if you talk about accountability, I do agree, kailangan din itong mabuksan. Not because we want to pinpoint people, but we don't want a repeat of such. Kasi bilyon-bilyon yung inutang. Napunta saan? Ang daming bakunang nilibing. Ang daming test kits sa nilibing. Ang daming scientists, real experts in the Department of Health and attached agencies whose hands were tied. They cannot complain because those who will speak up the truth will be threatened with cases. Yun nga, yung ibang walang kinalaman alos pinafila ng kaso ng Dingvaxia just so they won't complain. The transfer of funds was at 42 or 43 billion to PSDBM was something in history. And many people believe it's not legal. And it was no other than Secretary Duque who said, nautusan siya ng Pangulo. These are matters that should not be repeated. Dapat matuldukan ito. So if there are measures that would prevent such in the future, then it needs to be discussed.
Since you mentioned Dengvaxia, Deputy Speaker Janet, Dr. Tony Liachon alleges you were the one behind his suspension by the Philippine College of Physicians. And he suspects this news of his suspension was released after he filed a cyber libel case against you and because he continues to participate though in the Dengvaxia case against you.
Tony Liachon thinks so highly of himself. Atty. Karen, the Philippine College of Physicians is an organization that's very strong and hindi mo kayang impluwensyahan yon. Unang-una, lahat na siguro ng mga espesyalista na gumagamot sa atin ay miyembro nila. They are very flexible in terms of understanding their members, but the mere fact that they give Tony a serious offense and suspension of 6 months is very telling. I mean, I am fully aware that there have been a lot of complaints against Tony Liachon before the PCP. Ang problema, he would always say, it's his freedom of speech. But with that comes accountability. You cannot, just because he wants to land on the headline, he would make accusations right and left, even if it's baseless. And I saw that in your program, he said he was testifying as a regulatory expert. Again, that's a big lie. The transcript in the courts will speak for itself. How can he be a regulatory expert? Ang regulatory expert are the people, the scientists, the experts in FDA. Kaya lang nagtrabaho siya sa isang pharmaceutical, and yung pharmaceutical will apply for permits for their products. That does not make him an expert. In fact, when he was asked by the judge in the QCRTC how he became an infectious disease specialist or a pediatrician or a vaccinologist, in terms of vaccines, his answer was PRRD, or former President Duterte, invited him to Malacanang. So he was showing proof of the invitation. And the judge was saying that we need a diploma or a certificate or something that will attest to that. Not any president of the Republic of the Philippines cannot confer a specialization on a certain doctor. Another thing, he kept on saying maraming namatay. Again, these are lies. Because the World Health Organization has repeatedly said it is not true, and 21 countries are continuously using the vaccine. Ito pang nakakatawa. in the courts and in many hearings, several years yan, no, na pinagdaanan namin, he was asked, because he kept on saying the cause of death is neurotropism-like and viscerotropism-like illness. Sabi ng judge, saan ba ito? Can you present any medical book, any medical journal, any publication that these illnesses are existing? And the answer was none. Gawa-gawa, no? Parang guni-guni lang nila yung terminologies na ito. And that's why the demurrer was granted. Ibig sabihin, hindi na nga kami nakapagpresenta ng ebidensya because what they presented were very telling. And the court also ruled that he cannot be an expert. So what he's saying na parang kasi darating, you know, my advice to Tony is for him to face PCP, admit his faults, and try to change. Because as a doctor, there are code of conduct that we have to abide to.
So just to clarify, Deputy Speaker Janette, when it comes to the Deng Vaxia case, dun sa regional trial court, na-dismiss na po ba ito?
There were 8 or 9 cases that were dismissed kasi na-prove namin na talagang hindi na bakunahan ng bata.
And that's based, okay.
Separate yun.
Yeah.
And there's like another batch of cases where the demurrer was granted because the autopsies were fake. The experts that we presented, we had with us the real cause of deaths, no, magkakaiba yun. And of course, meron pang ibang mga kaso, no, kasi it's copy-pasted, everything, the same case, pinapalitan lang yung pangalan. And the DOJ, sensing that it's just a repeat of all the cases, decided to grant our petition for review and recall. I forgot the legal term for that, no, parang bawiin yung mga kaso na final and put a stop to it.
And finally, yung cyber libel complaint that Dr. Tony Liachon filed against you, ano po yung status nun?
I really do not know. I haven't seen a copy of the case. Pero natawa nga ako nung nalaman ko. Parang nagulat ako when he filed that. And then after that, lumabas na siya on this PCP. So siguro alam niya, no? Nakikita mo yung series eh. Now, this was, I believe, an interview I had with some vloggers. And they were laughing, no? And the issue there was about fake news and fake experts and how we discipline real media from those pretending to be media practitioners because they just have their forum. So ito yung pinag-usapan. I don't know why he felt attributed to.
Okay, thank you so much, Deputy Speaker Janette Garin. We appreciate your insights today.
Thank you, Attorney Karen, and more power.
The election of Sherwin Gatchalian as Senate President may have ended one leadership battle, but other challenges continue to face the country. With legislative priorities, the flood control controversy, and the impeachment of trial of Vice President Sara Duterte still waiting to be dealt with. With a new leader now at the helm of the upper chamber, expectations are now for Congress to get back on track. Be informed, be insightful of the news. I'm Attorney Karen Jimeno. Always stay at the forefront.